宇宙周果然无愧于绝地，
被小心。
人类
万之面，
你独自一人，要
把银翼交给我，我便饶过你。
之力，我懒得浪费时间。
怎么样？
你也就这点事？这气息来自几十亿公里之外，这么大的宇宙周，竟然一下让如此迅猛。
看戏了。
真无语。
What's up guys, welcome back to Alrasta channel. Here, I will share spoilers for SwallowedStar episode 229. Just a quick reminder, this breakdown is based on the novel, so expect some slight differences from the Donghua version. Alright, without further ado, let's dive right into the story. After the huge axe creator showed his axe, the primal Chaos City leader approached Luofeng and handed him much more detailed information about the universe boat, which he had just received directly from the huge axe creator. Hearing this, Luofeng was absolutely thrilled, knowing that navigation data for such a dangerous region would be incredibly useful for his adventures. Not wanting to just take without giving back, Luofeng immediately returned his master's kindness by handing over a valuable ancient map called the Pulling Traces Diagram, which he had accidentally found in the waters of the Tilted Peak realm. The primal Chaos City leader was instantly shocked and could hardly believe his eyes. Normally, a map this detailed would only be carried by powerful warriors from the first reincarnation era who possessed incredible survival rates. Luofeng then explained that this high-end map was most likely a legacy left behind by a legendary fallen true god named Jiafanzi. Seeing their interaction, the huge axe creator immediately stopped all other conversations and announced Luofeng's massive surprise to all the universe masters in the room. The announcement instantly threw the banquet into an absolute frenzy, because the map Luofeng contributed managed to double humanity's knowledge of the universe boat region, even covering some of its core areas. One by one, all the universe masters approached Luofeng to congratulate him and express their deep gratitude for such an incredible contribution to the future of their race. As a token of appreciation, the huge axe creator approached Luofeng to award him true treasure points for contributing the map. Even though its actual value was far higher, the limited resources of their race meant the huge axe creator could only offer 5,000 true treasure points. He motivated Luofeng to use these points to gear up, strengthen himself, and quickly rise to become a universe master. Luofeng accepted the reward with deep respect, feeling a strong sense of warmth and unity within the human race. Luofeng knew that Jiafanzi's treasures were hidden at the border of the universe boat's core area, a highly lethal zone that was usually only accessible to true gods. Despite knowing how extreme the danger was, Luofeng's determination didn't waver one bit to claim that valuable inheritance. With thorough preparation, Luofeng officially stepped out of the original universe and began his journey into the universe ocean to head toward the universe boat. In the silence of the universe ocean, Luofeng pulled off consecutive long-range teleports all by himself, leaving the Tilted Peak realm behind as he headed toward the universe boat region. Unlike his very first trip to the Tilted Peak realm, this time his Shiwu wings had completely recovered to their stunning original form after absorbing a massive amount of core energy from the white wings. With the perfect combo of the Shiwu wings, the Flame Sand Cup, and his miniature universe technique, Luofeng now had total control to either fight or leave whenever he pleased. He was also determined to temper his mental willpower along this journey until it was on par with a true god. The long and monotonous journey through the void instantly got a bit more exciting when Luofeng spotted a natural wormhole. Without a second thought, he dove straight into the spatial vortex to cut down his travel distance. Luofeng's main focus this time was to find an extreme mental training ground inside the universe boat, which was home to 16 massive pillars standing 1,000 light-years tall, known as the Celestial Magic Pillars, or Black-Striped Stone Pillars. This region was incredibly special. Not only did it emit an overwhelming mental pressure, but the space around the pillars also featured extreme time-space distortion, reaching miraculous time ratios of 100:1 or even 1,000:1. This incredibly accelerated time flow around the Celestial Magic Pillars was the main reason Luofeng chose this spot, as it would save him a ton of training time. However, he had previously faced a tough choice because he held a disambiguation mirror stone, also known as the Jiqing stone, to access the disambiguation temple on the original star, which housed a piece of a pinnacle domain-type true treasure. But to prioritize the mysterious broken white wings back in the Tilted Peak realm, Luofeng chose to leave the stone in his god country so it could be handed over to his master if the temple suddenly opened while he was still deep inside the universe boat. After traveling for nearly 12 days across the deep reaches of the universe ocean, Luofeng finally arrived at the outer perimeter of one of the 3 most lethal regions. As the thick cosmic smoke began to thin out, his eyes were treated to a magnificent, mind-blowing masterpiece of a view. Right in front of him stood a colossal ancient warship wreck, towering tens of millions of light-years high and stretching billions of light-years long. The massive hull, draped in deep black and mysterious purple tones, was heavily damaged with millions of holes and massive cracks, looking as if it had been battered by intense laser storms and slashed by gigantic weapons in the distant past. A massive gravitational pull continuously surged from within the universe boat, sucking in the surrounding chaotic airflow and transforming it into terrifying displays of natural energy. Encircling the ship were massive rivers of blazing fire, the freezing waters of the cold sea, raging tornadoes, and flashes of lightning shaped like giant serpents stretching tens of thousands of light years long. The sight that truly gave Luofeng goosebumps was the bottom of the ship, which was clearly devouring a miniature universe billions of light years in diameter, tearing it halfway to shreds and proving just how horrifying the energy inside the ship's structure really was. Even though thousands of reincarnation eras had passed without a single living soul knowing how these 3 most lethal lands were formed, the timeless universe boat stood firm, rivaling the existence of the original universe itself. Millions of massive ship debris pieces drifted at high speeds around the main hull, bound by an invisible force that ensured even the strongest beings could never take or move a single tiny fragment from it. Luofeng then landed on a mysterious black piece of debris spanning 0.6 light-years in diameter, instantly feeling a heavy pressure that made his heart shudder violently. Standing on top of that solid debris, Luofeng immediately geared up to take his first steps into this perilous territory. Knowing that exploring the inside of the universe boat would drain his energy and require maximum alertness, he decided to look for a safe coordinate point first. After just 5 minutes of teleporting, Luofeng managed to reach a specific, fast-moving fracture zone that had long been agreed upon and marked as a gathering and resting spot for warriors of the human race. The giant debris of the universe boat drifting near the tornado vortex constantly gave off sharp wind shards that slashed like daggers. But to Luofeng's resilient body, the impacts felt like nothing more than a gentle breeze. Before long, a powerful figure suddenly materialized right before him, turning out to be the Ice Mountain Master. This unexpected meeting caught Luofeng by surprise since he figured his martial uncle was still in the Tilted Peak realm. Ice Mountain Master explained that thanks to the comprehensive map Luofeng had contributed, the human race had shifted its operational focus to the universe boat. In fact, the huge axe creator, who had recently gotten lucky and obtained a supreme true treasure in the inner area, was expected to arrive at this location within 100 years. Walking side by side toward a majestic white divine palace standing over a massive canyon on the ship's debris, Ice Mountain Master broke down the Alliance's current situation. At this resting area, only 3 universe masters from the human race were currently geared up. Himself, Void Gold Master, and Zhenma Master. He reminded Luofeng that while parts of the map would be shared with allies in the Hongmeng Alliance, the core secrets had to be strictly guarded so other races couldn't exploit them. Soon after, high-level members of the human race and the Alliance started showing up one by one, including Penggong Master and Huangjian Master, filling the Divine Palace with an even more intense aura of leadership. While waiting for their departure time, Luofeng took the opportunity on the edge of the palace cliff to have a private chat with Void Gold Master. Luofeng asked about his eldest brother from Earth, Hong, whom he had lost contact with for quite a while. Void Gold Master smiled and shared that Hong was a unique genius, whose growth curve shot up exponentially during the later stages of his training. After reaching the Immortal level and earning the title of Huanjie Emperor in the Star Prison, Hong was taken in as a direct disciple by the Huge Axe creator himself and was currently training inside the Huge Axe universe. After praising Luofeng's lightning speed, which was already on par with a Universe Master, Void Gold Master gave him a stern warning about the risks of this exploration. He reminded him that even though Luofeng's silver wings could control time and space, he would still be in deep trouble if he crossed paths with an enemy possessing a pinnacle domain-type true treasure. Since the seniors would be heading straight into the deep, unmapped inner areas, they wouldn't be able to rush back and save Luofeng in time if anything went south in the outer regions. Void Gold Master made it clear that Luofeng had to take full responsibility for his own survival and all the treasures equipped on his body. A month flew by, and 16 Universe Masters from the Hong Alliance finally gathered, gearing up to venture out into that extreme territory. Before they took off, the primal Chaos City leader, acting as a highly protective master, warned Luofeng yet again not to recklessly approach the incredibly lethal inner areas unless his strength was on par with Ice Mountain Master or Void Gold Master. Luofeng could only keep quiet, not daring to let slip his actual plan of heading to Jiefanzi's legacy area to avoid making his master angry. After exchanging their farewells, the Universe Masters executed consecutive teleports and instantly vanished from the palace grounds. Although a few Alliance comrades offered to move together in a small group, Luofeng politely turned them down, choosing to adventure entirely on his own. It took him only 20 minutes after splitting up to reach the outer surface of the ship's hull to figure out his best path. Based on a combined analysis of the human race's map and Jiefanzi's ancient records, there were 100 different routes leading to the inner area. To save his own skin, Luofeng carefully chose the path with the absolute lowest threat level to make his way toward his chosen magic pillar location. Out of a grand total of 892 dangerous hotspots detected, Luofeng estimated this journey would take around 500 to 600 years, since some safe zones only allowed slow, manual flying without any teleportation. Wasting no more time, Luofeng shot straight down into a massive crack in the ship, which stretched a whopping 280,000 light-years long and 92 light-years wide. Framed by views of creeping vines and thick ice crystals covering the walls of the fracture, Luofeng's figure gradually faded into the darkness of the chasm to kick off his epic adventure. Stepping into that colossal crack, Luofeng was instantly hit by an eternal darkness that felt freezing and eerie, where the only light came from the faint reflections of ancient ice crystals. To secure his path, Luofeng immediately activated his Golden Kingdom or Golden Country technique, instantly spreading a golden light domain across 80 light years to map out his route, though some of the deepest ice points remained completely impenetrable. It didn't take long for this extreme environment to test his mettle. A massive storm of ice daggers suddenly sliced through the void, heading straight for his position. Even though Luofeng quickly summoned his flame sand cup and whipped up the blazing flames ocean as extra defense, the ice storm, which packs the punch of a full attack from an ordinary universe master, was just too massive and managed to trap him anyway. Seeing his fire domain starting to buckle under the weight of millions of ice shards, Luofeng focused his entire willpower and divine power, honed over 1,000 years, to compress the whole sea of fire into a massive weapon. In an instant, a colossal golden sword spanning 100 million kilometers named the Blazing Flames Blade materialized, burning intensely. Using his ultimate golden light technique paired with the full force of the Golden Kingdom, Luofeng slashed the massive sword right into the heart of the ice storm, triggering a violent explosion that blew millions of ice daggers into tiny fragments. A completely clear hole spanning 10 million kilometers opened right in the middle of the storm, and with lightning speed, Luofeng successfully zipped right through it safely. Making it through that 2,100 light-year-long ice storm was just a warm-up, since the route Luofeng picked still held another 892 extreme death zones. Over the next 21 years, Luofeng truly realized how terrifying the inner areas of the Universe Boat were, to the point where domain techniques like the Golden Kingdom and Blazing Flames Blade sometimes weren't even enough to save him. Luckily, he always kept his guard up by keeping his golden-horned beast body on standby inside the Absolute Defense Palace, the Star Tower, as a safety net in case his human body got instantly obliterated. After slipping away from various death traps, including a giant green vine entanglement in a black sea, Luofeng finally arrived at the edge of a legendary region that cosmic adventurers actively avoided, the God-Destroying Valley. God-Destroying Valley was a lethal zone that ranked in the top 3 most dangerous places along Luofeng's route. This region, stretching tens of thousands of light years long, was split into 2 extreme sections, a boiling lava ocean hanging in the sky and an expanse of pitch-black bedrock down below, forcing anyone to fly through the narrow gap between them. However, what made this valley a true living nightmare wasn't the lava rain or the falling giant crystal boulders that could easily be shattered by a slash from the Blazing Flames Blade. It was the presence of 9 terrifying, mindless creatures inhabiting the area, known as the Molten Lava Devil Gods. A Molten Lava Devil God is a gargantuan creature standing tens of billions of kilometers tall, its entire body formed from solid rock and eternal magma. This 4-armed, 3-eyed monster with horrifying fangs fights purely using mystical punches and kicks, packing enough raw power to bring even a true god to their knees and force them to run for their lives. The creature has proven impossible to wound with any weapon, and history records that anyone caught within its attack radius, even if they hide inside a pinnacle palace-type true treasure, ends up completely obliterated. Knowing that even his star tower could be trapped forever if he got caught, Luofeng could only pray for a bit of luck as he flapped his wings and headed deeper into the burning valley. Bad luck for Luofeng, fortune didn't seem to be completely on his side in this scorching environment. On his 11th day inside the god-destroying valley, while he was busy dodging a meteor shower of giant boulders, a suspicious movement occurred in a corner of a black rock cave that his golden light radar couldn't reach. Out from the darkness of that cave popped a head with messy, fiery red hair and a single wildly darting eye. The mysterious figure instantly recognized the silver silhouette flying above as the famous human newcomer from the Tilted Peak realm, whom other races often dubbed the Silver Wings Horde leader. Catching sight of Luofeng moving all by himself in such a dangerous place, the red-haired figure immediately flashed a sly, malicious grin. He thought Luofeng was being way too arrogant and reckless, relying entirely on his time-space controlling Silver Wings to push through an inner region as brutal as the god-destroying valley. Thinking that the young human genius was about to meet his end in this valley of death, the mysterious figure, who looked like a child with a burning red body, shot straight out of his lair, gearing up to forcefully seize Luofeng's legendary Shi Wu wings. Pushing into his 11th day in the god-destroying valley, Luofeng's alertness spiked because the space around him was becoming heavily distorted by the extreme heat of the boiling lava ocean. Right in the middle of this high-focus situation, his Golden Kingdom radar suddenly picked up a powerful figure closing in fast from behind. According to the human race's database, the childlike figure was identified as Yin Tuo, a Tier 4 universe master from the ancestral god sect who hailed from the first reincarnation era. As a special life form with a unique body structure that made him impossible to kill, Yin Tuo was an incredibly tough close-range fighter who wielded a pinnacle true treasure psychic weapon called the Golden Soulphone Armor, making him a much bigger pain to deal with than Anyong Master. Yin Tuo tried to seize control over the time and space around them, but his attempt was instantly crushed by the far superior golden light dominance of Luofeng's wings. In a piercing, ear-splitting voice, Yin Tuo arrogantly demanded that Luofeng hand over his silver wings if he wanted to make it out of this death valley alive. Luofeng just scoffed at the threat and immediately used his Golden Kingdom to pull down a massive cosmic boulder, over 300 million kilometers in diameter, that was falling from the lava ocean. Weaponizing his domain's gravity, Luofeng directed the giant rock to rocket like lightning straight at Yin Tuo's position. Seeing the massive rock hurtling toward him and tearing up space, Yin Tuo let out a loud shout while bursting out billions of golden fragments from his body, which instantly linked up into a legal thread formation. In a flash, the fragments fused and mutated into a massive horned golden lizard spanning 100,000 kilometers, radiating a majestic aura like the incarnation of a golden beast god. The golden lizard charged without a second thought, smashing into Luofeng's giant boulder and using a powerful whip of its tail to deflect the rock. It borrowed the impact's momentum to launch itself even faster after Luofeng. The execution of such a high-tier technique, mimicking the rebirth of the beast god, actually left Luofeng a bit impressed and pumped up to face the challenge. However, that combat excitement didn't last long, as a far more terrifying natural phenomenon suddenly formed in the lava ocean above them, a massive lava whirlpool. According to the ancient records left by Jiafanzi, this lava whirlpool was one of the 7 deadliest natural hazards under the domain of the molten lava devil gods, capable of expanding at an unbelievable speed that outran any creature's escape capability. The vortex triggered a violent windstorm, picking up massive rocks from the ground and spinning them wildly through the sky, while the space around them instantly froze solid, leaving absolutely no spatial ripples to escape through. Yin Tuo burst out laughing, feeling like he had the upper hand since he treated this death valley like his own home. In an instant, the rapidly expanding lava whirlpool swallowed Luofeng's position with an incredibly powerful gale force blast. The impact of the windstorm was massive, delivering a constant battering on par with a Universe Master's attack every 0.01 seconds. Even though the toughness of Luofeng's divine body could tank the damage from this continuous beating, the sheer wind pressure drastically cut down his flight speed. On the flip side, Yin Tuo in his golden lizard form looked way more agile in the storm, using his tail to keep his balance and landing smoothly on the surface of one of the flying rocks. Digging his razor-sharp claws deep into the rock structure, Yin Tuo funneled his divine power to take control of the cosmic boulder and hurled it right at Luofeng. Even though the rock's movement was slightly held back by the pressure of the Golden Kingdom, its curving trajectory through the storm was still way faster than Luofeng could move. Sensing the looming danger, Luofeng quickly flapped his silver wings to dodge, landing on another giant rock 300 million kilometers in diameter to use as cover. The next second, the two massive boulders collided with a force billions of times more violent than Mars slamming into Earth. The cataclysmic collision in the middle of the raging storm instantly shattered both giant rocks into millions of sharp fragments that went flying in every direction. Even though his body shuddered violently from the shockwave of the exploding rocks, Luofeng fought to hold his ground so he wouldn't get blown away. But Yin Tuo didn't give his opponent a single second to breathe. Out of the billowing dust clouds of ruined rock, a massive golden claw belonging to the golden lizard suddenly sliced through the storm, slashing directly at Luofeng's body with lethal speed. Watching Yin Tuo's massive golden claw rush toward him through the flying debris, Luofeng didn't flinch at all and immediately used the flap of his 4 silver Shu Wu wings as defensive blades. Relying on his ultimate golden light technique, the edges of his silver wings, which had evolved to become incredibly sharp, clashed directly against the hard scales of the golden lizard's claw, triggering a thunderous boom in the air. The brutal impact forced both sides to recoil in opposite directions, proving that the physical durability of Luofeng's silver wings was now on par with a pinnacle true treasure weapon. Feeling challenged by his opponent's physical toughness, Luofeng immediately drew his main weapon, the absolute guest sword, while nimbly leaping from one rock fragment to another to launch a counterattack. This time he combined the power of his sword and a slash from his left wing simultaneously, backed by the dual support of the Blazing Flames Ocean and Golden Kingdom domains, to slam hard against the golden lizard's skull. The shockwaves from this clash of power kept tearing open lethal black spatial fractures all around them, forcing Yin Tuo to admit internally that the combo of Luofeng's 2 domain treasures had completely closed the gap in their divine body power levels. Even though Luofeng was still holding back an ace up his sleeve, pushing his Golden Kingdom to its absolute max limit, which was on par with top-tier masters like the primal Chaos City leader. He chose to hold back to avoid sparking greed among other powerful beings in the universe ocean. Unwilling to waste time dealing with Yin Tuo, who was famously undying and tough to kill, Luofeng manipulated a portion of his consciousness to control the fiery Blazing Flames blade, keeping it raining down to pin the golden lizard's movements. While his enemy was busy tanking the onslaught of the fiery blade, Luofeng seized the momentum to instantly pivot and fly off at lightning speed, leaving the battlefield behind. Seeing Luofeng make a run for the center of the lava whirlpool, Yin Tuo doggedly tailed him from behind, hoping the young human genius would get trapped in the core of the vortex. However, Luofeng just laughed out loud because he already knew the vortex's deadliest secret. An invisible storm called the Annihilation Whirlwind, which was clearly recorded in Jiefanzi's ancient journal. Letting his projected voice echo out, Luofeng mocked Yin Tuo's ignorance for thinking he could be trapped there, leaving the universe master from the ancestral god sect completely shocked and frozen in his tracks, since high-level secret intel about that destructive storm had only recently been uncovered by his own alliance. Right in the middle of Yin Tuo's despair over his failed scheme, the raging lava whirlpool suddenly eroded the deepest layers of black bedrock, revealing a dark blue planet-shaped ship that had been buried there for ages. The sudden appearance of a true treasure in the extreme environment of the god-destroying valley left both Luofeng and Yin Tuo stunned, because any treasure capable of surviving the valley's destruction was guaranteed to be at least a top-tier palace-type true treasure. Snatching up the golden opportunity, Luofeng, who was positioned closest, instantly fired up his domain's golden light to bind and forcefully pull the blue planet ship toward him before Yin Tuo could even reach for it. Yin Tuo could only grit his teeth and curse in pure rage, watching a treasure he had waited hundreds of eras for in this Death Valley fall into someone else's hands in the blink of an eye. Meanwhile, Luofeng smiled with satisfaction as his divine power recognized the function of the damaged blue ship. It was a high-tier flying-type treasure that could easily be repaired later by his master Zuoshan Ke. However, Luofeng's excitement over claiming this unexpected prize was suddenly interrupted by the arrival of 2 other powerful silhouettes, who abruptly emerged from the deepest cave across the lava whirlpool. Those 2 party crashers turned out to be a pair of formidable masters from the Divine Eye clan, who had also been lurking in this valley for a long time to hunt for treasures. The moment they spotted the glow of the dark blue planet ship being pulled by the Golden Domain, one of them, named 5 Chaos Master, immediately identified Yin Tuo and Luofeng's silver silhouette at the scene. Realizing that the legendary user of the time-space controlling Silver Wings was claiming a treasure all by himself, the 2 Divine Eye warriors instantly braced to launch, sparking a brand new round of treasure snatching that was far more dangerous for Luofeng's safety. The presence of these two warriors from the Divine Eye clan instantly flipped the battle dynamics in the God-destroying valley. Ultimate Arrow Master, whose strength was on par with the Ice Mountain Master, arrived packing a rare bow and arrow weapon along with a pinnacle true treasure domain. Meanwhile, 5 Chaos Master was on a whole different, terrifying level, being a worthy rival to the primal Chaos City leader himself. Not only that, but 5 Chaos Master had also mastered 5 Beast God paths simultaneously, wielding the Water Ripple Prison domain treasure and a pinnacle tier palace type asset. Right at the start of their encounter, 5 Chaos Master immediately intimidated Luofeng, dismissing the young human genius as someone who just got lucky with silver wings and was walking straight to his death. Seeing such a terrifying new enemy, Luofeng quickly shrunk the newly obtained dark blue planet ship down to the size of a fist and pocketed it. Ultimate Arrow Master arrogantly demanded right away that Luofeng hand over the planet ship and his silver wings if he wanted any mercy. When Luofeng refused with a mocking laugh, 5 Chaos Master immediately deployed his Water Ripple Prison, manifesting an incredible technique, a massive 10 billion kilometer giant palm radiating 5 colors that represented the 5 Beast God paths. The massive strike, completely blotting out the sky, came crashing down, ready to crush Luofeng in one lethal blow. Facing a strike that could easily take out an ordinary master, Luofeng was forced to unleash the power limits of his Shi Wu wings, which he had been hiding all this time to avoid drawing suspicion. In that exact instant, the golden radiance of the Golden Kingdom exploded with full power, covering a radius of dozens of light years. The absolute dominance of those silver wings shockingly managed to rip apart and obliterate the entire water ripples of the Water Ripple Prison, which automatically dispersed 5 Chaos Masters' giant palm technique as well. Meanwhile, Yin Tuo and Ultimate Arrow Master, who witnessed the whole thing, screamed in absolute shock, unable to believe that Luofeng's domain power could break the dominance of a top-tier fighter. Seeing that Luofeng's wing treasure was actually way stronger than he had estimated, 5 Chaos Master's eyes instantly filled with deep greed. He then triggered his signature technique, the 5 Chaos Sector, combining it with the Water Ripple Prison to create a 5-colored, distorted world that locked down Luofeng's position. The dual pressure from this artificial world proved too heavy, starting to crush the defenses of the Golden Kingdom. Realizing his divine power was beginning to drain, Luofeng gritted his teeth and immediately pulled out one of his strongest aces. He triggered the miniature universe technique right in the middle of the universe ocean, funneling an infinite cosmic chaotic airflow to form a protective cosmic membrane. A massive collision shook the area as Luofeng aggressively manipulated his miniature universe and Golden Kingdom to smash against the structure of the 5 Chaos Sector world. Combined with the external bashing from the raging, churning lava whirlpool, 5 Chaos Masters' artificial 5-colored world finally cracked and shattered to pieces, just as the energy of Luofeng's miniature universe began to shrink. Starting to feel annoyed that 2 of his attacks had been shut down, 5 Chaos Master instantly manifested strange black scales all over his body and turned his right hand into pure gold. A clear sign that he was gearing up to use his absolute true power, the level of strength he usually reserved for duels against the primal Chaos City leader. But just as 5 Chaos Master was about to unleash his ultimate strike, a strange smile suddenly broke across Luofeng's face, giving the top master of the Divine Eye clan a very bad feeling. The scorching valley instantly shuddered violently as an unbelievably massive, giant arm suddenly tore through the lava ocean above them. The most feared creature in the entire region, the absolute ruler giant, the molten lava devil god, finally revealed his horrifying form. Catching sight of the arriving magma demon god, Yin Tuo in his golden lizard form, Ultimate Arrow Master, and even 5 Chaos Master were instantly struck by pure panic, pivoting around to run away as fast as their legs could carry them. Watching his 3 enemies scramble away in sheer terror, Luofeng's eyes actually turned completely blood red from a surge of extreme madness. Instead of running along with them, Luofeng maxed out all the remaining energy of his Golden Kingdom and Sea of Fire to spread an incredibly thick inhibiting net, completely locking down all 3 of their movements. Surrounded by a lava storm with the lethal grip of the molten lava devil god closing in fast, Luofeng's crazed laughter echoed through the valley, making it clear that if he was going to be trapped in this death zone, then not a single one of his pursuers was going to be allowed to leave alive. Even with the storm of extinction looming right before his eyes, 5 Chaos Master initially managed to keep his cool, estimating that the molten lava devil god was still far enough away to give him time to escape into a safe spot in the underground labyrinth. as a formidable warrior who only respected the primal Chaos City leader for being able to withstand his 5 Beast God combo technique, the 5 Beasts' Great Extermination. 5 Chaos Master felt he was far too superior to die in a place like this. However, his composure instantly collapsed into pure panic when he realized that the bindings of Luofeng's Golden Domain and Sea of Fire were clamping down even tighter, ruthlessly crushing his every movement without mercy. Hearing Luofeng's taunt that he was intentionally weaponizing this deadly environment to take them down, Ultimate Arrow Master and Yin Tuo panicked out of their minds, screaming and begging Luofeng to stop his crazy stunt. A furious 5 Chaos Master tried to threaten him, saying he would repeatedly use his 5 Chaos Sector and Water Ripple Prison to trigger a standoff until they both died together, while reminding him that Luofeng's young age was way too valuable to throw away over nothing. But Luofeng just shot back with a cold laugh, pointing out that he had multiple clone bodies anyway, meaning the option of dying together didn't scare him one bit. This lightning-fast exchange via divine power took place in mere seconds, right alongside the horrifying movement of the molten lava devil god, who charged forward at over millions of times the speed of light using the principle of raw force smashing through laws, force against technique. With just a single stomp from that 10 million kilometer giant foot, the entire bedrock of black rock shattered into oblivion, sinking millions of kilometers deep and caving in most of the underground labyrinth cave structures below. The earth-shattering boom of the magma demon god's footstep struck right at the cores of Luofeng's 3 pursuers, forcing them to realize that true death was marching toward them at terrifying speed. With things getting increasingly critical, 5 Chaos Master's pride completely crumbled, his eyes flashing with a rare humility as he begged Luofeng. He promised to hand over a pinnacle true treasure weapon and swore he would never hunt Luofeng down again, as long as the constraints of the Golden Domain were dropped immediately so they could escape the giant magma monster together. While Ultimate Arrow Master kept wailing in anxiety and Yin Tuo cursed his own stupidity for sticking around to watch this feud, the footsteps of the molten lava devil god grew larger in their sight, spanning a massive reach of at least 10 billion kilometers per step. Staring at the terrified expressions and desperate pleas of his once arrogant enemies, Luofeng's gaze suddenly turned dark, dripping with an incredibly intense killing aura. Mocking their peace offer, Luofeng brought up how the chance they had offered him earlier was nothing more than extortion to forcefully rob him of his silver wings and defensive palace. Instead, Luofeng threw back an impossible counter-condition. 5 Chaos Master had to surrender his forbidden temple palace and the extermination godly armor, Ultimate Arrow Master had to give up the core of the blade sector, and Yin Tuo had to hand over his golden sulfone armor if they wanted to be let loose. Hearing Luofeng's counter-demands, which targeted the absolute best treasure assets they had hoarded across 3 reincarnation eras, the 3 masters were instantly struck dumb in deep despair. Realizing that Luofeng was deliberately playing with them and fully intended to drag them down to the gates of hell, 5 Chaos Master instantly snapped from a massive surge of peaking rage. With a hysterical roar, he once again exploded the giant eye projections of his 5 Chaos Sector and his Water Ripple Prison, trying to forcefully smash Luofeng's Golden Domain so they would all truly be trapped in the exact same destruction. Maintaining a terrifying smirk on his face, Luofeng directly welcomed the attack by re-triggering the dimensional membrane of his miniature universe, sending the cosmic chaotic airflow clashing violently in midair once again. The 2 top-tier domain forces bit into each other and crumbled to pieces within a fraction of a second, but that incredibly brief window was more than enough for the molten lava devil god to arrive right over their heads. Enclosed in the shadow of the giant magma monster, which had now locked down the entire space and blotted out the sky, Yin Tuo in his golden lizard form could only let out a raspy, despair-filled groan, realizing that their time to escape was completely up. Then what happened next? Alright, thanks for watching until the very end, and don't forget to keep supporting this channel by leaving a comment, dropping a like, and subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, bye!
怎么样？
也就这点神秘气息，来自几十亿公里之外，这么大的宇宙中。